Chats, and we've got the lovely Clare here from Te Atatu Toasted. Clare makes a range of low sugar and gluten-free cereals, and I know you've developed a few new products recently. And a self-made entrepreneur who just saw a gap in the market and took advantage of that. And so, welcome to Clare. Thanks for coming along today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Tracey.
You're very welcome. So I'd actually often seen your products in the supermarkets and stuff before I'd met you, so I kind of had an awareness of you and had eaten your products, which are delicious, and then got the chance to meet you, which was lovely. But for people who don't know, you tell us about how Te Atatu Toasted started. What happened there?
So my background is 20 years of food manufacturing, and in that time I've seen, particularly probably in the last 10 years, about how manufacturing of food in New Zealand has become more about the price and meeting a price point, and to do that foods have become a lot more refined and full of low nutritional ingredients to meet those costs. And I just thought there was a gap in the market for a muesli that was made just with nutritious ingredients and at a fair price. So obviously it's going to be a bit more expensive than the mueslis that we have around at the moment, because there's no fillers in it. So there's no, in all my cereals, there's no wheat, rice, corn, refined sugars. So I just want to make a really good, healthy cereal. And the other thing I say to people is, when you actually eat a nutritious cereal, you just don't need as much.
Totally.
And so when people buy my cereal in supermarkets during supermarket tastings or online, I give them a portion spoon. It's amazing. People go, oh, I'd never survive on that. But once they've had it, I get a lot of feedback, people saying, you were right, that's all I need. And so it's just saying, showing people you don't need to eat as much, and you just have it with fruit and yogurt. And I think we've just got used to eating more, because a lot of foods are full of low nutritional ingredients, and the downside of that is not only are we eating more, but we're eating more sugar and salt as well. And so that's essentially why I created it.
Okay. And why muesli? Why did you choose that, and compared to other products?
That's a really good question. Because to be honest with you, muesli is not the only food that has an issue of having lots of fillers in it. The reason essentially why I created it is I've made my own muesli for years. I actually make my own bread for the same reason as well, because it's actually really hard to find breads without fillers as well.
Totally.
So I made my own muesli, and I had a friend who was a chef, and you know what chefs are like, they'll tell you whether they love something or hate something. They're pretty blunt. And I took my muesli to him and I said, look, I'm thinking of making this product. And he said to me, mate, it's the best muesli I've tasted, go for it. And so that kind of gave me the confidence to go to the next step. And the next step for me was to take it to farmers markets and sell it there. And farmers markets are a really good way of getting customer feedback. And so from there I developed, so I started with an original layer, and then from there I developed a really low sugar muesli, and then after that I developed a gluten-free muesli as well. And then my latest has been my Cocoa Crunchies. And they've become about, because I look at cereals in the kids section, and they're just full of really low nutritional ingredients and additives like preservatives and flavours and colours and sugars. And I just think, it's just the wrong food for children to be starting their days with, if we want them to really participate in school and participate in life and activities.
I totally agree. So you obviously started with the farmers markets, but now I know that you're definitely in supermarkets, and you're in either Farrow or Nosh. Farrow as well. So you've got some sort of retail distribution as well. Was it? Because I hear getting into supermarkets is really, really tough. Is that true?
No, not
really?
No, it's not too bad actually. So I think, first I started with Farrow, and so the markets, people would say, oh, you should take your product belonged to Farrow. And so I took it along my original and my healthy blend, which I had at that stage, and they said, yeah, love it, we'll take it. And they said to me, oh, have you got a gluten-free? And so I developed a gluten-free really from them asking for it.
Yeah.
And then so they stopped my gluten-free as well. And then from there, I probably about 6 months later, I ran Foodstuffs, and they said, ring a couple of supermarkets and see if you can get them to take it on. If they're interested, then we'll look at host supporting you, which is essentially putting my product in their database so anybody can buy it. Anybody, any of the supermarkets. So in Foodstuffs, the New Worlds and Four Squares and Pack and Saves are owner operated.
Right.
So when you're small like me, they will decide whether they take you on or not.
Right.
So I was really lucky. I had a couple that took me on, and then I went to Foodstuffs, and then they went through the process of being host supported.
Right.
And what I found with New Worlds, which is predominantly who I supply in the supermarkets, is that there is a lot of the buyers and the owners are health focused, and so they love seeing new healthy products and are really good at supporting them. So those are the New Worlds that I have stocked my product in, ones that are focused on
basically your
supporting
customer
health.
base.
Yes.
So people who would be interested in what you're selling.
Yes. Yeah.
So I have to ask. So the name is because you're from Te Atatu?
Yes, yeah. So
I think it's good though, because it's really point of originality.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of like, especially if you're from you live in Auckland, you're like, oh, Te Atatu Toasted.
Yes, yeah.
And it rings really well.
Yes,
too.
yeah. So when I first started selling it at the markets, I can't even remember what I called it. It's like muesli or something like that. And I just asked around probably for about 6 months, what do you think? And a friend said to me, oh, Te Atatu Toasted sounds, it's quite catchy. I thought, that's pretty good, and I'll just see if something else comes up. But that was the one that stuck in the end, and there's a few reasons for it. Te Atatu means the dawn.
Wow.
Or the new dawn.
But you've got a sun on your thing, haven't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, that's the time when you have breakfast, the new day. And so that was one reason. And it's amazing how it sticks with people. Like, people do remember the name. Occasionally, I will get people say to me, who aren't obviously from Auckland, they say, so Te Atatu, what's that? Which is kind of cute.
That's very cute.
So that's really the reason for the name. And I live there, obviously, too.
Yeah, perfect.